Hi y'all, this is Larry at Deep South, Texas. Today we're going to make some homemade gyros, and we're also going to make some tzatziki sauce. Let's get started. I'm going to start off with a pound of ground beef and a pound of ground lamb. Now, ground lamb is a little bit difficult to find down here at Deep South, Texas, but I did find a leg of lamb, and the price, which normally is pretty high, and it probably still is, because beef prices are so high, it didn't look so bad anymore. So I bought that leg of lamb and I ground up about a pound of that, and that's what we're going to use today. So I will put the recipe ingredients in the description, but we're going to start off with a pound of ground beef. And then we're going to add our pound of ground lamb. And then we have 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And we're going to mix that all together. Now once I get this mixed, I'm going to put this into the refrigerator for about an hour. And that salt will help condition that meat a little bit, and I think it will work a little bit better when we cook it later. There, that looks pretty good. Now we'll just cover that with some plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for an hour. Now that hour won't go to waste because I need to get the pita bread started. And I'm not going to show how I do that on that video. I have a video on making pita bread, and I'll try to put it in a card right up here. Well, the pita bread has been mixed up and it is rising. So while we're waiting on that as well, let's get started on the tzatziki sauce. So I have 3 small pickling cucumbers here from the garden, and we're just going to peel them and then grate them up. Okay, here we go. And I think that will be enough. Now we're going to put that into a bowl, and we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. What we want to try to do is draw some of the moisture out of this cucumber. So we'll get that salt mixed in. And we'll let that set for a little bit. Well, not a lot of liquid has drained out of the cucumbers, but we're going to try to squeeze out as much as we can. We're just going to put it on this tea towel. And try to squeeze all the moisture out that we can. Let's get this in order here. So there's a lot coming out now. Again, just don't want our tzatziki sauce to be too too thin and runny. So there, I think that looks okay. Now, let's get this dumped in our bowl. Without making too much of a mess. And let's add the rest of our ingredients. So we have 1 cup of Greek yogurt. This is no fat yogurt, no particular reason. It just happens to be what I picked up. Mix that in. Then we want a couple cloves of garlic. Maybe one more. Then we're going to put in just a little bit of dill I got from the garden. Chop it up. And a little bit of red onion, not too much. And we'll chop that up as well. And a few grinds of black pepper. Let's get that all mixed up. Now let's move it out of this mixing bowl into a serving bowl. Try not to make a mess here. But that's looking pretty good and tasting good. Now this will be better after it sets for a little bit, and we have plenty of time because we're still working on the gyros. So let's get back to the gyro meat, and I think I'm going to do this in 2 batches. Because I think that amount of meat is a little bit too much for my food processor. So to the gyro meat, we're going to add 1 medium onion. I have a large onion, so I'm going to use half of it. We have a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of dried oregano. So I'm going to add half of this to each batch of the meat. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this in and just really try to emulsify it as much as possible. First, let's roughly chop the onion. Throw that in. Put in half of our garlic. And then put in half of our meat. And the cumin, black pepper, and oregano. Roughly half. And we may have to push that down once or twice. Our meat is fairly well processed now, nice and fine. And now I am going to pack half of it. I have 2 loaf pans, so half is going to go in each loaf pan. I'm going to get that in there and pack it down, and then we're going to put it in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit and cook that till it's done. About 35 minutes, I think. The oven has been preheated, so as soon as we get this in the pans, we'll be ready to go. And there they are, ready to go into the oven. So we'll get them in the oven and we'll take a look at them when they come out. Well, the gyro meat is out of the oven. It was in there about 35 minutes. It's reached an internal temperature of 155 degrees. Now we're going to let this cool down a little bit because it's much easier to cut when it's cool. Well, while that gyro meat is cooling down, let's slice up some tomatoes for garnish. A little tomato, a little onion, maybe a little olive oil. So that'll be ready to throw on our gyro when it's done. I still have to fry up some pita bread as well. One more step. We're getting closer. We got to take our gyro meat and slice it real thin. And then we're going to put it in the broiler for just a minute or two. Well, I think that's enough to fill up our pan. I have a baking sheet covered with parchment paper. Into the broiler it goes. And our gyro meat is done. Time to build us a sandwich. Well, let's make our gyro. We have our pita bread here. We'll put on some tzatziki sauce. I'm just going to cover this whole thing. A little bit more. Put on a little lettuce. And some of our tomatoes and onions here. Get a few more onions on there. And now the star. Our gyro meat. Oh, and let's put a little feta cheese on there as well. There. I think we're ready. Looks good enough to eat. Well, let's give this gyro a try. It looks really good. Mmm. It tastes great and tastes very, very authentic. Down here in Deep South Texas, there is a local restaurant that makes these called the Blue Onion, and it's not too far away, and I get some there from time to time. But nothing like making your own. Should give it a try. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.